Welcome back to Project Zenki. Now if you notice over the last few videos, I've actually been working on the engine and the engine bay and the cooling system. So I've replaced the radiator with an ISIS radiator from Zenki Racing. When I did the motor swap, I did the water pump, the thermostat. One thing I haven't done is the hoses. Now last weekend I was on a car cruise with a local car club, and guess what? Murphy's Law struck and actually developed a hole in the radiator hose at the top. Luckily it was right up here by the top outlet. I cut that off, slid the hose over, and got the car home without it overheating. Thankfully, I didn't lose another motor. So anyway, I'm actually going to this time replace the hoses, and I've got these lovely blue ones from Zenki Racing. The thought of putting anything else red or black in this engine bay was really bugging me, so I needed some color. So I'm going to go with blue this time. And while I'm doing that, I'm actually going to install a thermostatic fan switch. That way the fan will turn on at 185 degrees. Right now they're actually wired to the key, and that turns them on all the time, and most of the time they're not needed, so it's just either draining power or putting wear and tear in the fan. So to get started, I need to get the car up on jack stands, get the coolant out of it through the bottom radiator hose, get these swapped over, and then I need to take the fans off and the intake off to go start putting this fan switch on. Let's get to it. Okay, now as you can see, I do have the radiator hoses out. And I've actually taken the brackets off here so I can get the tank to slip forward. But as you'll notice, I do have these red wires going back. These are running to the fan. And actually in the box, where's the relay for the one fan already. It's just kind of a rat's nest. The previous owner, or the one before that, actually did. You can see the red wire there that runs back all the way to the blue connector there. It comes off the wiper motor. That's actually the switched power source for the relay. So I'm actually going to take that out, actually run everything back through the fuse box here, and just generally I'm really looking to clean this up and make it look a lot more factory. It's all going to be black taped, that way it blends in and you really won't notice it. That way it should look more OEM than hack and aftermarket. So more work to do. We'll see you on the flip side. Alright everyone, just to show you a little bit of progress here. You can see I've got the radiator and fan assembly out. And here's the actual thermostatic switch. It's actually pushed through the fins. On the back side it has a clip and a foam pad to hold it to the radiator itself. And you can see now I actually have it taped there. So when it goes inside, it's actually going to fit inside the fan assembly. And it will sit kind of inside the housing, I guess you would call it, that the fans sit on. And then it's going to sneak out the top corner there, and I actually have wrapped in a few layers of tape. I'm not too worried about it being cut by vibration. It's going to be held in place pretty well, but that's just an idea for now. If I need to go a different route, I will. I'm going to give it some time to see if that's going to hold up or not. So time to put the fans back on, put the radiator back in, and start getting the wiring done. Okay, now you actually see I do have everything back in. I do have the radiator put in and the hoses. Now if you look, you can see the red, I guess you'd call it the red lead that was going back over there, is now actually taped. It's actually covered up. Looks, I would say halfway factory. I'm not going to call it great, but it's nicely done. You actually don't see any red wires and it doesn't look so bad. Now this is actually all tucked in here. This is 2 relays, both fused. That way they won't blow any circuits or anything. And now it's just a matter of putting the fluid back in and getting it all bled out, and then seeing if the fans will turn on. That's all for this time. Thanks for watching. See you next time.